What's going on, YouTube? My name is Opon. Welcome to the studio. I have a chorus for you, one that I made myself. It's more of like a hip hop type sound, and I'm going to show you what all of this sounds like before and after. First, let's take a listen to before.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Now let's take a listen to after.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy. Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Right? So sounds a whole lot better. Let's go ahead and show how we got there. Transition. All right, so I got about a total of 8, 12, 15 tracks here for the chorus. And it's a chorus that repeats itself. We got 4 bars and 4 bars. That repeats itself, so a total of 8-bar chorus. And it starts off with a main centered track, and then we got 2 on the right, 2 on the left, and then the next, as the chorus repeats itself, we add another 4 to the right, 4 to the left, making a total of about 12 backing tracks, if I did that math correctly. So yeah, so 13 total, not 15. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what our main vocal sounds like before plugins. I'm in Cubase, so if I go ahead and hit E, I'll open up this channel settings, channel strip type ordeal where you can see my plugins and my sends. This is with everything on and after the fact. Let's go ahead and turn all this off, and then we'll go one by one. So first, what I have here is I have the vocal going straight into an EQ, which if you see this channel strip toggle here, I have an EQ and then this vintage compressor. So I'm going to go ahead and bypass that vintage compressor. I'll bypass the EQ too, why not? And this is what the vocal sounds like by itself. It's going to be pretty quiet, so I'm going to solo it.
Lay your head on me.
So let's go ahead and here, let's do this another way so you can actually hear what's going on. Let's go ahead and add this compressor.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
So you might notice right off bat, I have no clue how to sing, but nonetheless. All right, so let's go back. So first, what I have going in here, I have this channel strip hits first before these effects do. These inserts, as you see here, it goes strip, then inserts. In Cubase, you can change that around if you want to by hitting this. Then it'll be the other way around. But let's leave it strips, then inserts. We have it first going into this EQ. What this EQ is doing, I'm going to pull it up. It's right here, actually. What this EQ is doing is I have a pretty loose, I don't know how else to explain it, but the low pass filter, or sorry, well, high pass filter, but I'm rolling off the lows, but I have it at this here Q instead of a slope, instead of like a harder slope like this. I don't want to cause really too many phase issues or anything like that, and not too loose of a slope like that. For this microphone, I just think this slope works better, and I have it going at about 152 hertz, which might be more or less than what someone else might do. It's kind of taking out a lot of the boominess. This was recorded, this particular verse for the chorus was recorded on a condenser mic instead of a dynamic mic, which more typically you would want a dynamic mic. But without this EQ on, well, you just heard it, but let's listen to before and after. And I'm gonna keep these compressors on so that you can kind of, otherwise I don't mess around with like faders and stuff and mess up what I already have. So let's listen to this before and after. Go here and turn it off again. I'm actually going to solo it.
Lay your head on me.
So I'm kind of just getting rid of that boominess. So I'm going to turn this stuff off so you can just hear what that's doing. Let's engage this EQ. This is the EQ after. Well, let's listen to before again. After.
Lay your head on me.
Right, so we kind of get a little bit more brightness, and then I went ahead and took out some of that like tinniness in this, like right here about 6K. Let's listen to what I'm taking out.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
So right there in like that throat area, that high pitched throat area, I'm going ahead and taking that out at about 6, and then taking out just slightly there.
Mm-hmm.
Tighter EQ or tighter Q.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 really isn't doing anything. This one isn't really doing anything either, but and then here I'm adding some boominess.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
Or at least I think I was. I don't know. I definitely wasn't adding that much. But let's see here.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me. Baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Well, actually, let's take that out. I don't know if I was adding that or taking that out. Obviously, that slope got messed up. But let's add that out. It adds a little bit more clarity.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
And that's like at 1,000. Right? And then from there, I had it going into this vintage compressor to kind of add in some harmonics and some compression.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me. Baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
I have it going into a waves, the tune here, just to get some auto tune settings to taste depending on who you want or who you are. I don't want it to sound too auto tuned, so I don't have the note transition or speed up too much, but about halfway because again I can't sing. So after.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me. Baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Right, and all of a sudden I can sing. Then I have it going into this compressor.
Mm-hmm.
Quicker E-tax, a little faster attack, slow release, moderate ratio, about 2.5, and I'm taking out about.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me. Baby, we made it.
Right, about between negative 1.5 to about negative 3. Sometimes peaks out at about negative 4 dB, and then I'm adding in 3 dB of gain. Then I have that going into this little tube plugin, and I'm just adding a little bit of saturation and some kind of like low end. I kind of want it to sound have like a tape saturation type feel. So this little tube compressor type drive plugin is kind of giving me some of that harmonic character that I like.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
And you might be able to notice some of that. It is a warmer vocal, but we're still kind of boomy, and that low end is kind of a little muddy. So then I went ahead and added this Manny EQ. Manny Triple D plugin, which is I'm not going to say his last name, but Manny Mariquin. And I have, it's like basically a de-esser between 3 different bands. So it's D-boxy, D-harsher, de-esser, and I'm taking out some of that boxiness. So if we just solo that boxiness area.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
So that's what I'm taking out. And then as well for the harshness, let's just solo that harshness.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
Kind of piercing, I'm taking those out respectively.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
Right? And with this, I don't like to go too hard on it because then you kind of lose a lot of the body of the vocal. So
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
So we got it coming about there. And then I have some fresh air to introduce a little bit more brightness. I'm using it as well, very lightly. The fresh air, similar to the Triple D. Fresh air, I find myself like being able to really destroy a vocal. Like I'm gonna just exaggerate this high air so you can see.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
And to me, it could be a little bit too crisp, so I like to do it within taste, very lightly.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
Right, so I like that there, and then I'm going into this compressor here again. This is the CLA 76 by Waves. This bluey setting, there's blacky and bluey. The bluey setting specifically, I like because for a song like this, it adds harmonics. A lot of times when I do like darker or well, darker, I can't figure out another word to use, but darker type hip hop tracks, I'll use the Blackie setting. But when it's like more poppy ish, like this song, I will go ahead and use that Bluey setting. Or if it's a female vocal, sometimes depending on the sound we're trying to go for, I'll use the Bluey setting to add more harmonics and kind of brighten it up a little bit. And then as far as like ratios between the input and output, I have it here, as you can see, a little above or below 30. And again, the numbers on this really don't matter. It's just depending on how your vocal comes in to the compressor, what level you recorded your vocal in. But the attack and release settings are a little bit more important. On the CLA 76, it is backwards. So 7 is not a slow attack. That is a faster attack for the attack and release. So I have a pretty fast attack, not too fast, in a moderate / quick kind of a release. And then I have the ratio at 8, which is a little bit higher of a ratio. But I wanted a compact vocal. And then I have that going into this LA2A, so hitting 2 compressors, and this one's kind of just bring that vocal right up through that mix.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
And that peak reduction's hitting pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me. Baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Right? And then as far as the sends, I have a reverb delay, a second delay, and then this is a parallel compressor. So let's go ahead and turn those on one by one and hear what we got going on here. So this reverb is a send. So if you see here, these are all my sends, my effects channels. We got reverb delay, parallel compressor, which isn't being used on this, and then the second delay here, which I'm going to color some color. I will just leave it like that. Cool. So this reverb that we got coming in is, and I'll go ahead and unmute it. Well, actually, wait, let's see what we got going on here.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
I don't know why. Okay, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Sweet. So we got it going into a Valhalla. Oh, before we hit this Valhalla, I have this EQ before we go into the reverb here, and that's kind of just filtering out the low and the highs, because I don't need that information in the reverb to muddy it up or like add too much brightness. I kind of want that reverb to kind of be basically just kind of warm. And this is what you'll commonly see before a reverb or a delay, is filtering out the low and the high. So then I go straight into the Valhalla verb, and I have 100% mix on the, because I want to mix it in with the fader, not here in the actual reverb. So I'm gonna do 100% mix, and then I have a pretty high pre-delay, which I didn't do mathematically to see if that's supposed to be where it's at.
Mm-hmm. Lay your head on me.
But to ear, that sounds like it's a pretty good reverb for me. And I pretty much just use the short vocal ambience like preset on that, and then I have it going into a 76, just to kind of compact it.
Lay your head on me, baby.
What a ratio that at all. I like my verbs really compact. I don't want it too dynamic, especially for a song like this. And there's a lot of other sounds going on, and because we have a stacked chorus, I don't want my reverb like all over the place. I kind of want it compact and like controlled. So that's why I have that compressor on it at that level. And that's pretty much it for the reverb. And then we have, and let's listen to that with the beat now.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Right? So, and then we have going into a delay, which this is just a really small delay, not doing too much. We have it filtered again, the same way as we did on the reverb. We have it going into Echo Boy. And this is Little Echo Boy. And we have just a 16th note delay, cheap tape setting, a little bit of saturation. And then we have the delay itself filtered with this kilohertz plugin. So it's filtered again which is basically rolling off our lows and our highs in that cone shape. And then we have a reverb on the delay. We have this plate reverb, really little pre-delay, but the reverb's kind of high. And lastly, a compressor to kind of pack it together again. This is what it sounds like with the delay.
Lay your head on me.
So you can't really hear much, but it's kind of just adding a little bit of it's a 16th note delay, so it's hitting pretty hard. Or it's not like a long drawn out delay. But that's why we have this second delay to give us a different type of sound. So same type of filter. Actually, on this one, I didn't filter the high end too much. I have this more rounder cutoff because I do want this to introduce a little bit more higher harmonic so that it can kind of cut through the rest of everything as far as the delay goes. And then we have an H delay, and we have a quarter note delay for this one with the high pass filter within the delay, and that's our feedback there. 100% wet on the dry wet as well, going into a compressor, going into a reverb, but we're barely using the reverb. There's, as you see here, the wet dry is down to about 30%. The size is about 50. The time under half a minute about, and then some pre-delay on it. And then a compressor. This compressor is what we're using to duck the delay so that's not getting in the way of our vocal. I'm gonna show you what it sounds like with the reverb. With the delay. So let's unmute the delay.
Lay your head on me.
Right, now this is without this compressor that we are using to sidechain. This is a compressor within Cubase. It has a sidechain feature within the plugin, and I'm sidechaining it back into the chorus, back into that main vocal. So if you notice here, right by my camera, this purple track is what our chorus is. It's the chorus main OG is what I labeled it. So I have the sidechain compressor. I have the compressor on the delay FX track, and then I'm sidechaining it to the main vocal. So when that main vocal, after the main vocal, that delay comes in. When the main vocal comes back in, that delay gets punched back down, so it's not getting in the way of everything. I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna bypass it so you can listen to it before and after the sidechaining.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
So you kind of see how it's kind of like getting in the way. That main vocal is kind of competing, and then when we bypass this,
lay your head on me, baby, we made it.
Right? And I have pretty moderate ratio. I have it ducking in at about
lay your head on me.
And something. Oh, we didn't even turn it on. Let's turn that on.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy. Lay your head on me.
Right? So you can kind of see how that's getting out of the way there. And the attack I have at about 9 milliseconds. So that means it's not, we're not hitting that compressor so quick. But if I turn it down a little bit,
lay your head on me.
Right? And then the release is a bit slower release, because we kind of want to hold on to it a little bit. So yeah.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it.
Right? And then it's going about negative 6 dB out of the way.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy. Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy. Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy. Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Right? So actually made that release a little quicker. But that's that little dance you kind of figure out with that side chaining that you have to figure out yourself. But that's what we have for the main vocal. You want to get that main vocal to be your cleanest vocal out of all your stacks for that chorus, because obviously that's going to be the most legible, and you want that to cut through all the noise so that your actual chorus is legible, that people can hear it and distinguish what you're trying to say there. So let's go back to here. We're going to take that off solo and take the instruments off solo here. All right, now we introduce our next couple of stacks. So you see here we have two on the right and two on the left. And these are our first two that we're going to be listening to, right and left. Let's see what they'll sound like by themselves. And let's listen to those before effects. So we might not be able to hear them too much, but here they go.
Lay your head on me.
So let me again turn those compressors on so you can hear them.
Lay your head on me.
Right, so what I have for these is I have them going to a bus or a group just to simplify everything, and I don't have to duplicate a bunch of plugins. So this backup chorus is the group that has all my effects on there. To see that in a different way, here we have the console view, and you'll notice that purple track here by the camera, my camera, that's the main vocal. And then it's separated by this gray track, which is the group track. And then you have 4 tracks here, 2 on the right, 2 on the left, going to that group. And then separated by another gray track. That's where I have the rest of my chorus stacks, the other 8 stacks. And then these are all managed by this group there. So I hope that makes sense. So on these actual tracks, to save CPU and just to make everything simpler, not have to duplicate a bunch of plugins, I have all the plugins on the one track that they're all bused to. If you see here, if I go ahead and click on this track and you notice the routing, I have it routed to the backing chorus. So I can set the route there, so they're all routed to this track there. If that confuses you at all, maybe I'll make a video on how to route all your tracks and stuff in Cubase. But you can look at this basically as a group track, bus track, routing track, whatever. So on the actual track, I just have EQ within the channel strip, kind of doing the same thing that was done on that main vocal. And then I have another EQ on the track separately, which are doing things separately between these two here and then these 2 tracks here. So these tracks here are
Lay your head on me.
are lower. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a little bit of brightness at about 9 or like 8K, somewhere in there. And then I have the verb and delay on the actual tracks, and I can even probably turn this delay off so that's not competing with that main vocal. And then all those 4 chorus tracks are being touched by this EQ. Now this part is important. On this EQ for this track, I want to make sure that these vocals aren't competing with the main vocal. This is how you can have a lot of stacks and it be coherent and cut through the mix. That main vocal, the middle is very important because that's where you hear a lot of the legibility of the vocal. So I'm taking out a lot of those highs here in this like 3K range, that boominess again right under that 500 hertz range, and rolling off some highs here at the top, and then obviously those lows there, so that it doesn't compete with that main vocal. So let me go ahead and unmute this main vocal so you can hear it with that as well.
Lay your head on me. Baby, we made it. It's all too easy. Lay your head on me. Baby, we made it.
All right, so as far as on the for these ad libs. I then have it going into a auto tune. Give me some auto tune. I have it going into Greg Wells. This is basically like a. It's good for choruses, pretty much. I mean, it's called a voice centric. And what this is doing is giving me some reverb and a little bit of doubler.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made.
Right, and with that Greg Wells plugin, oops, yeah, with that Greg, wait, what did I do? With that Greg Wells plugin, in that auto tune, it kind of gives you more of a prettier sound.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it.
Right, then I have it going into this little tube. I have the little tube setting on high instead of soft this time.
Lay your head on me.
Then I have it going into Valhalla. The Valhalla, I have it going into a preset, this Vox plate, because I don't want to give it too much reverb, but I want it to take a little bit of out of the front of that stereo field and wash it down into more of the background, as it's a background chorus type situation. So I have the mix on that on 30. I wanted to wash it out, but not completely. This is before and after. This is before.
Lay your head on me.
After.
Lay your head on me.
And then I have it going into the triple D again.
Lay your head on me.
Right? And you can kind of hear that boxiness come out of there. And then I have it going into this EQ, which is kind of taking out some low end and a little bit of the high end up to about 12K. I'm rolling off.
Lay your head on me.
Right? And then I have two compressors, same thing, 76 in the 2A.
Lay your head on me.
Now again with everything. Here, let's do this. Do that.
Lay your head on me.
Right? And then with our beat here.
Lay your head on me. Baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
And then lastly, we come into the last part of the chorus as it repeats itself, but we add a whole new layer. 4 tracks on the right, 4 tracks on the left, and they're being processed differently from our other backup layers here. So let's take a look at what we got going on here. So again, they're separated by this gray track, and on the actual tracks themselves, they don't really have much going on other than they each are being sent to a verb. I have that separately instead of on the bus track because I guess I just wanted more control. They all have pretty similar EQs on their separate tracks, but different depending on what they got going on. For instance, these tracks here, and let me go back, unmute that, or unsolo that. You're not going to hear them too much without, here, let's solo this, obviously.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it.
So if you can hear, if it's not too quiet, my apologies. I can actually turn these up.
Lay your head on me.
So I wanted to go ahead and, you can hear that they're like very low. I wanted to go ahead and take that boominess out of these two particular tracks. I did them all differently. I did these 2 low. I did another 2 high. I did another 2 like moderate, medium, and then EQ'd them respectively. So these I want to take out the low end, and then you have these here. These are going to be at a different pitch.
Lay your head on me.
Right, so you can see that those are higher, and I didn't take out the boominess there, but I have this 4 kind of just nudging out some of that to any raspiness. And then I have these two here. And those are really hard to hear. But basically, it's more washed out like a mellow tone. Let me see if I can just turn these two up. Yeah, those are really hard to hear. But that's what's going on with that. And then these other two here. Again, very quiet. But you kind of see what they're all doing. And then I have them they're all going to, oh, that's why they were so quiet. Or maybe not, I don't know. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Right? And then I have them all going into the bus here where they're filtered again, lows and highs off. I have the first thing that I have on that track is this reverb to kind of wash it out again. And you see that the reverb is kind of on max. We got a small room preset. And then I'm going into a compressor from there. This is the compressor we're going into.
Lay your head on me.
We got it hidden pretty hard. I like my chorus tracks very, very tight. And then we have these 8 tracks going into a micro shift. We have the main vocal in the chorus and center. We have those 2 on the right, 2 on the left that are more heard. And then we're hitting this micro shift because I want that chorus to spread more as we get into these other 8 tracks that aren't supposed to be as legible, kind of more of a vibe, more airiness, more ambient. And then lastly, another compressor to compact it all together. This is before those effects with all of them together.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Right? And you kind of hear how they're kind of a little all over the place.
Lay your head on me.
Right? And then we turn on those effects.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Right? And then after that micro shift, I can also hear some like the vocals are like kind of competing for themselves, are like clashing into themselves.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy. Lay your head on me, baby, we made it.
Like maybe right there. Right there.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it.
Then maybe again here.
Lay your head on me.
Like right about 600 or so. 700.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
So we're going to hit that before the compressor. Now, with the whole chorus together, let's just undo all that. And undo that. Undo that. And this is what it sounds like all together.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy. Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Right, there you go. And another thing that you can do is listen to them with headphones, obviously, to make sure that that spread's happening nicely. You can still hear that main vocal. Nothing's too cluttery. You don't have too many reverbs stacking on top of each other. A lot of time with choruses, people won't even add other reverbs on if they have like 6, depending on how many backing choruses they have. And then also another tip, listen to it in mono. So if I go to the stereo out track, which you can't really see here, but is there another way I can, okay, whatever. I'm gonna go to the stereo here, and then I'm gonna oh, actually I can do it this way. We go here to the control room in Cubase, and then I can just hit the stereo button, hit that to mono, and listen to it in mono. And that's another tip that you can do to see how it's sounding in mono.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy. Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
And that will kind of let us know as well if it sounds good in mono, especially with all those different pans going on, then it should sound good in stereo. And I don't think I showed you this, but looking again, just to kind of see those pans, kind of maximize this up. We have pans happening in a way that kind of makes sense. We have that main vocal centered. Then we have those first two right and left going about 70 each way. They're not equal, but they don't have to be. And then we have 50. And then we have 70 again, 100% right, 100% left, 30, and then 26 right and left. So kind of trying to get across the whole frequency or stereo field. Yeah. And maybe even with this one, I could do 80 if I wanted to. Just kind of separate it from that other one a little bit. All right, let's take a listen.
Lay your head on me, baby, we made it. It's all too easy.
Right? So that is how I got that chorus to sound that way. I hope that was helpful. That was a pretty much complicated video. I tried to do it as quickly as possible. But yeah, group your tracks together. Try to do it all in kind of one swoop instead of doing it all each track separately. Although the EQs are a little bit more important to do separately. And yeah, thanks for watching. I've been Ohpon. Like, subscribe, put the video in your mom's fridge, share for as many people as possible. Hey, we're trying to reach 100 subscribers, so peace.